Hello and welcome to Crypto Exposed. XRP 385,464% surge to $2,500 possible as banker explains 40,000 XRP equals 100 million. Okay, let's get into this one. So, funnily enough, I actually saw where this article has come from recently, and I bookmarked it because I knew straight away as soon as I saw this that I wanted to address this, and I'd read it and thought I'd add my 2 cents in regards to this. So I'm not going to bother going through the article because I've actually got the exact post here on X, and it's from XRP Crypto. So look, before we even get into this, I want to just make this clear. This isn't me attacking XRP Crypto or anything like that. This is not me calling XRP Crypto a liar or anything like that. Like, I've actually used his chart analysis to do videos in the past. I actually find him quite a credible chart analyst. So I'm not here to be trying to now call him any kind of liar or anything like that. But I'm just going to say this. Even if we go along with what XRP is saying here, I don't necessarily trust the banker. If that's the case, I'm not sure if the banker is giving accurate information. So I'll put it like that. And so we've got here a story from XRP Crypto, and I will get into it in a moment. I'll read the whole post. But before I do start all this, look, I've been in the crypto community for a good few years now. And when it comes to XRP, I've heard it all, man. I've heard it all. I've heard all the stories about how XRP was going to take off in like 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023. I've heard all the stories. I've heard all the conspiracy theories of how Donald Trump was going to make XRP take off, and how Biden is a clone, and how he was going to end up losing his seat in office, and then that was going to end up making XRP take off. I've heard about how the Russia and Ukraine war is all about XRP, and how XRP is actually going to stop World War III. Like, I've heard all these stories. And I'll just say this, guys. When it's come to all these stories that I've heard, and all these theories that people have made, and all these dates that people have predicted, not one of them have come true. Not one. And that's why I go more with chart analysis than I do like theories and stuff like that, because with chart analysis, you're reading chart data. So at least I can see that you're trying to make a plan or a prediction based on actual analytical data, right? Stuff that you can actually read and make your own kind of assumptions from. That kind of thing is something that's got a bit more substance to it. When it comes to these theories and stuff like that, like, I'll tell you one as well, specifically that's kind of relevant to this story. I was in a community. I'm not going to say the community's name or anything like that because I don't want to get into that kind of thing. But I was within a Discord, and basically they were talking about how, XRP, this was 2022, if I'm remembering rightly, coming into 2023. I think it was around November 2022. And they had this group call. And there was a guy who basically claimed he had some kind of insider who worked for, I think it was JP Morgan, if I'm remembering rightly, but it was one of these big US banks, like a massive US bank. And he was basically claiming how he'd spoken to this guy and he'd said, look, the talk between all the banks and stuff is that they're running out of liquidity. This can't keep going on. They're in a real bad way. They need XRP immediately. And how XRP was going to go into, I think it was at least 4 digits they were saying. And, they were kind of talking about all these meetings that the banks were having behind the scenes and stuff like that, and how XRP is being discussed at length, and, how they want to start utilizing it as soon as possible. And they was basically saying, it's coming. It's coming. Basically, the 4 digits is coming. And yeah, here we are. And, none of it came true. And don't get me wrong, I was skeptical from the get-go. As soon as I heard all this kind of stuff, because I'm very much a skeptic at heart. Like, I don't just take things at face value. So when I did first come into the crypto community and I was first being told about XRP, I'll be honest, I did take a lot of things at face value at the beginning. And then what happened was I was told one date where XRP was going to take off, he was going to do some amazing price action. And that never happened. And once that one date didn't happen, as soon as that date came and went, I became fully skeptical again. I was like, okay, I'm not going to listen to anybody telling me these dates or anything like that anymore. Let me do my own personal research so I can come to my own conclusions on this kind of stuff. And here I am today, being able to obviously make content for you guys from the research that I've done. And yeah, like there's a lot of, people out there who, make these kind of stories and stuff like that and have these kind of claims. And, again, I'm not saying that eGreg is lying here. I'm not saying that he doesn't have a banker friend or anything like that, because I don't know eGreg like that. From what I've seen in terms of his chart analysis, he seems very credible in that sense. So I'm not going to just turn around and call him a liar here, but even if it's this banker guy, it could be that this banker guy is just spinning him a line. It could be that this banker guy is just making all these conclusions and these stories and trying to, give out these kind of theories, and really he doesn't know what he's talking about, maybe, or maybe he's lying or something. I don't know. I'm not sure. But I've heard this so many times, and, this is part of the reason why I created this channel, is because there's so many of these kinds of stories, and I've heard them all before. And for people who are new in the scene, who are like just getting into crypto, I'm doing this kind of content because I'm trying to help you avoid the potential pitfalls. You see what I'm saying? Like, I'm trying to help you avoid making kind of mistakes based on this kind of information. And the other thing about these kind of stories and theories that's a real big problem is, one thing I've noticed is that when it comes to this kind of stuff, like, it's a kind of thing where they will just either change their story or they will keep going until a point where they're bound to be right. So, for example, let's just say I'm going to sit here now and make a theory and say XRP is going to reach, let's just say, $5 within 6 months, right? And let's say 6 months doesn't happen. The next thing that goes on from there is I see people like move the goalposts. Like, so for example, they will say, oh, okay, 6 months will come and they'll be like, oh, well, it's all being suppressed. The elites don't want us to have it yet, so they're going to hold it back a little bit longer. And then let's say it happens in like another 2 years time. They'll be like, see, I told you it was going to happen. It's like, it's 2 years after, like you can't like still be trying to make the same claim that you made 2 years ago and acting like that was you being right all along. Because it's one of those things where if I just say, hey, XRP is going to rise in price at some point in the future, and then it takes like 5 years for it to rise, and I say, told ya. It's like, well, yeah, of course it was going to go up at some point, right? So it's like, obviously you've ended up being right, but look at what you've had to do and how vague you've had to be to get that kind of conclusion. And so this is the kind of stuff I see when it comes to these kinds of stories. Like, they're very, very vague. And especially when people say like, oh, I've got a banker friend. Like, the problem that you always have is that no one's really willing to say like names. And this is where it gets even worse, because when you've not got names, you've got no one to like give any kind of credibility to, right? Like, so if there was someone who you could say, okay, this is the person's name, and you can look them up and say, oh yeah, they do work for JP Morgan, blah, blah, blah. You can kind of go with, yeah, okay, fair enough. I can see their work there, blah, blah, blah. But this is the thing, like, they're saying that they can't give these names and stuff like that. So you're just going with like this shadowy figure of someone who's saying all this, and you've got no one to even give any kind of level of credibility to it or anything like that. So these are the kind of stories that I personally just try to avoid, in my opinion. I try not to give too much weight to these because I've seen so many of them, and like I say, none of them have come true. This is like, to me, like, it's kind of like the Riddler stuff, to tell you the truth, like, throwing out a random picture there and making out that this is going to be some huge key to how XRP is going to take off and stuff like that. Like, I don't see it personally. That's just my opinion. And I'm just doing this for you guys to say, be careful with this kind of stuff, in my opinion, because I don't think this is going to be the key to how we make wealth from XRP. And just one other thing, right? Like, let's just go with a hypothetical. Let's just say XRP did reach $2,500. It doesn't mean that it was because of the factors of what have been stated by this person. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's like, for example, with the lawsuit. A lot of people might say, oh, the lawsuit was always a show. It was never real. It was fake completely, that kind of thing. And then Ripple win the lawsuit. And then they're like, see, it was all fake. And it's like, that doesn't necessarily prove that it was fake. It just means that Ripple won, right? Like, it could just be that Ripple genuinely had a lawsuit and they won the lawsuit. Just because they won doesn't mean that the lawsuit was fake. And so this is where sometimes people try to apply the narrative just because the story is kind of going in that direction, and they try and apply a narrative to it. And this is the kind of thing that I'm talking about. Like, these are the kind of obstacles that as XRP holders, you know, you've got to try and navigate, because there's a lot of misinformation out there. There really is. And for being an XRP holder, it really is like a battle, having to like sift through a lot of the information that's really inaccurate to get in the good information. So as I say, I'm just doing this video more as a cautionary tale, but we'll go through the actual post here so you can hear the whole thing, and obviously you guys can take from it whatever you want to take from it. So we have here from Crypto, XRP $2,500. Don't shout the messenger. Obviously he means don't shoot the messenger. That's just a typo there. Okay. Lately, I've come across some incredibly intriguing insights that I absolutely must share with you. The story is too captivating not to share with you. Allow me to introduce you to a friend of mine, a top-tier banker, well versed in finance, boasting connections across major and regional banks, as well as at the central bank's level. Surprisingly, he was following Crypto and mentioned it during one of our routine work-related discussions. Money and its future became the hot topic, and he brought up following an account on Twitter. He said, quote, "This individual, Crypto, showcases exceptional technical analysis skills, but seems to overlook the broader context," unquote. I jumped in affirming, quote, "Oh, he's undoubtedly male," unquote. That sparked some playful back and forth when he questioned how I could be so certain. I couldn't contain my laughter. The shocking part? He's following me as Crypto without realizing that I'm the one behind it in real life. So we struck a deal. I'd reveal the secret identity of Crypto in exchange for filing the analytical gaps. He was bewildered at how I knew about Crypto. So I challenged him to accept it, promising to spill the beans. And when I did, he was absolutely astonished to learn that I've been deeply involved in crypto for some time and am indeed the person behind Crypto. Next came the mind-bending conundrum. He challenged me saying, quote, "Explain how 40,000 XRP equals $100 million, unquote. Sounds implausible, doesn't it? But this banker thrives on numbers and puzzles. So, I embraced the challenge, brainstormed thoroughly, and presented the chart below to him. His reaction? Quote, "Look, the timing is impeccable," unquote. He nodded in agreement. Then, he pinpointed an almost decade-long cycle from 2017 to 2027. Perfectly aligned. His insight? Holding XRP for a decade could yield incredible rewards. He playfully rubbed my shoulder, saying, quote, "Now you're a multi-millionaire," unquote. Here's the bombshell he dropped. He stated, quote, "Remember Joel Katz, who is David Schwartz, talking about how 40k ETH could have hit $100 million? Well, it's like synchronized clocks, matching banking trend change, Basel III, geopolitics, everything. It's a cycle resembling 2013 to 2017, but stretched out twice as long," unquote. So, here's the takeaway. He said spread the word to your followers and encourage them to accumulate XRP. It could be the ultimate savior for liquidity when the tides slow down. The velocity of money is decreasing and governments need to amp it up. This could be a game changer. It's a fascinating tale, and I'm sharing it with you for the sheer sake of spreading this story. Nothing less, nothing more. Keep in mind, this might just be the possibility we've been seeking. I'm committed to accumulating XRP until my family needs it, which hopefully won't be anytime soon. XRP Army, stay steady and let's see where this journey takes us. I am ready for all possibilities. Are you? Okay. So yeah, I'm just going to go back to what I originally said here, guys. Like, I'm not here to try and take anything away from Greg. As I say, I look at his chart analysis and it's really good from what I've seen. He's someone who is credible. So I don't want to just make out like this is him just making up a story, because I've got nothing to prove that one way or the other. But even in terms of the friend that he has, I question the knowledge that this person is presenting, you know, like, and look, I could be completely wrong. This guy could be bang on the money, but I've seen so many stories like this within my time being an XRP holder and just being in the crypto community. Like, I've joined quite a few, XRP channels and stuff like that. And one of the things that I used to hear, a phrase that was really like crazy, was, I'm quit your job confident. So for example, someone would say, I've spoken with someone on the inside. They're telling me that XRP is going to take off next month on this date. I'm quit your job confident. And then they would literally turn out to be wrong. And all they would do, they would mock them for a little while, and then they'd just go to someone else who then makes a new date. And they'd just say, yeah, I've just spoke to this person. They're saying XRP is going to take this type of time. I'm quit your job confident. And, you know, like, maybe for them guys, maybe they've got to a point now where they just take that kind of stuff with a pinch of salt. But if you're someone who's new, who's coming into crypto and you don't know it that well, and you're being shown all the hype content of XRP, there's people who may very well actually quit their jobs over this kind of information, right? Like, I've seen people who've got caught up in this hype content stuff and they're in it deep. Like, really deep. Like, I remember seeing a specific person who believed that XRP was going to take off in November 2022, right? And he'd actually handed in his resignation of his job. That's how confident he was that he thought XRP was going to take off. And it didn't. And that's the thing where this can get a little bit scary. That's the kind of stuff that I'm trying to help people avoid. My thing is this: I believe XRP is a great investment and I believe it will make you good money. But I'm not going to sit here and tell anybody to quit their jobs on the hope of something coming through. Nothing is guaranteed in this market. And as much as I feel like I'm going to make money from XRP, I can't guarantee it to no one. So I'm not going to sit here and say you 100% are going to make money, because I can't say that for sure. And this is where, for me, I just have to do these kind of videos to just give people a level of caution and just to say, just be careful. You know, like, this is the kind of stuff that can end up getting people in very bad financial situations, making real bad financial mistakes that you might end up deeply regretting. And so, look, I can't say how true this story is. I can't say in terms of even the guy, like, does he actually know what he's talking about? I can't say, but honestly, guys, I've heard so many of these stories in the past and none of them have turned out to be accurate or true. Like, I see these and I'm just completely numb to them. I don't even really give them any kind of level of attention, to be honest. Like, I gave this the level of attention because I wanted to do a video to help other people. For me, as soon as I saw it, I just didn't buy it, personally. I just was looking at it, I'm like, yeah, not really into this. And just another thing here, like, where he said, remember how David Schwartz talked about 40k ETH could have hit 100 million? Well, the key word there, I've never checked to see about that, so I'm not sure about that. I don't know how accurate that is. But let's just say it is true that David Schwartz did say that. The key word there is could have. He never said it would. He never said it's going to hit 100 million. He said it could have. So when you're speaking in that type of context, that makes the world of difference, because he's not saying it like it's a fact. And this is the thing here, when this is here now, it's being presented like it's a fact, $2,500, it's going to happen. And I'm like, no one can make these kind of guarantees, guys. I'm sorry, nobody can. So really, we should never be giving this any kind of real enthusiasm or any real kind of trust, because no one can guarantee a price. They can't. We're all speculating, and yes, some of us are making more educated guesses because we've done more research, but it's still educated guesses. No one knows for sure. So to me, this is just a cautionary tale, guys. Like, this kind of content that you see, just be careful, because for me personally, I don't pay it mind, because I'm not going to make any kind of financial decision based on this kind of information. I just refuse to. I just think at the end of the day, I'm not going to take anybody giving any kind of price prediction, especially just people on the internet. Like, no offense, like, that's not enough for me to hang my hat on. because none of these people realistically, I don't know them, right? Like, I don't know their background. I don't know, like, for example, this banker guy could just be an absolute liar. Like, he could just be someone who just likes to fabricate things or exaggerate things. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know this person. So I've got no reason to just believe blindly that what's being said here is 100% accurate. You've heard that saying, believe none of what you hear and half of what you see. I think it's something like that. Like, this is the kind of thing that you've got to just be a bit careful about and just have that bit of diligence to make sure that, you're not just taking everything at face value. But I'll leave it there, guys. To me, yeah, I'll be honest, I'm not buying this story. I'm not saying that's anything against eGreg. I'm just saying in terms of this information, I don't think this guarantees that XRP is going to hit $2,500. So I'm just not going to say anything in that sense. I'm not going to give this any kind of level of trust, in my opinion. But what do you guys think? XRP to $2,500. Do you agree with this? Do you think that XRP can reach $2,500? And if so, when do you think it could reach that kind of price? Or do you not agree with this? Do you not think XRP could reach $2,500? And if not, why not? And if not, what kind of price do you think XRP could reach? And how long do you think it would take to get there? Let me know your thoughts, guys. I'd be interested to hear. Thank you very much for watching this. If you did like it, please remember to drop a comment, like, and subscribe. But until next time, take care.